Out of golf in the FedEx Cup playoffs continue this week in St. Louis at the BMW Championship. And Wyndham Clark, well, he'll be there and around the rest of the season as he sits fifth in the FedEx Cup standings and finished tied for fifth in the FedEx Cup opener in Memphis at the St. Jude. He's playing world-class golf again, fifth in the FedEx Cup standings, winner of the U.S. Open, his second major championship. And now Wyndham Clark joins me now on SportsCenter. And Wyndham, always good catching up, coming off the tie for fifth in Memphis, the first playoff event to remain. What's the focus the last 2 weeks of the season?
Strawberry Delight. Thank you for having me on. But I'm just messing with you. Yeah, the last two events for me is obviously try to stay, within the top 10 or where I'm at. It'd be amazing to try to get to that fourth or third spot. And then my eyes are also set on the President's Cup. I really want to make that team. They changed the format a little this year.
Yep.
So as long as you make it to the Tour Championship, it, doesn't necessarily matter your number and, everything starts over. So I'm really looking forward to this week. I love this golf course and I feel like it suits my game.
Yeah, at this point, is it the mental grind or the physical grind that's the biggest hurdle after what's been a long season?
A little bit of both. I mean, I think we get to this part of the year and you're kind of mentally drained, and then we play in some of the hottest places in the US and then it becomes a physical test. So it's it's a little bit of both for sure.
When do you start? Look, you're as competitive as anybody I know, and so you probably don't veer too much off the course. But when do you start thinking about what you're going to do for fun in the off season?
We have a Cabo trip planned right after Atlanta, and I'm already looking forward to that. And then, and then a bunch of other stuff. So I'm very much looking forward to the off season, but I'm also here in the present right now.
Yeah.
And really excited for these last two events.
Yeah, and I'm always curious about the nerves of a professional athlete, especially from a two-time major champion, someone who's been in the grind week in and week out. So on a scale from 1 to 10, what is more nerve-wracking for you? And 10 being the most, by the way. Sunday at the U.S. Open or throwing out the first pitch at the Tigers game?
I mean, I would say Sunday the U.S. Open, but I had a bad first pitch in Minnesota, so I had a lot of grief coming into that from my friends and had a lot to show. And and then throwing a strike, then it was great. But it is, I mean, putting yourself in an atmosphere that you're not used to is definitely nerve-wracking. And I actually threw out my arm a little bit and missed the cut in Detroit. So I don't know if I'll be doing that again.
All right, so here's the video of it. You're in the dugout ready to go. Now, did you warm up? Did you throw some warm-up pitches in the underground batting cage?
Yeah, and that's kind of why I threw my arm out. I was throwing with their first baseman, Spencer Torgelson, and we were just kind of warming up, and then it felt good on the mound, and I was like, yeah, let's see what I got. And then I threw 20 pitches, and I felt fine, and then threw it, that first pitch next day, I was like, oh my God, I can barely swing. So
that's not good. Yeah, that's not good. We got to have you out there swinging a golf club. And do you, this time of year, the PGA Tour season ends right as college football begins in the NFL. Are you a football fan? And if so, is this time of year fun for you to just sit back and just be a viewer of sports?
Yeah, I went to Oklahoma State and Oregon, so I root for both those teams for college football. And then I'm a massive Bronco fan. I'll get to a couple this fall. And yeah, I'm already pumped. I got my future bets on the teams. I'm in a couple fantasy leagues.
There you
go. My agent's brother, Darren Muji, is now the GM of the Jets, so I'm a quasi Jets fan. So there's a lot of sports they're going to be watching in the fall.
Well, let me tell you this. I want to watch you play world-class golf like you've been doing all year in the last two events. Then I'm going to watch you in the President's Cup. I know that as you are on to the BMW Championship and early coverage exclusively on the ESPN app. And then before you know it, Wyndham, we'll be at the SoFi Center together, and that's going to be all kinds of fun.
Yeah, can't wait. Can't wait.
All right,
DGL, baby.
Play well.